Testing. Hello. Do you guys hear this goober? First of all, I want to say congrats on first Linktra and thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. And also hi Twiorsh to Twiorsh. I swear, if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I'm so sorry. It's gonna be like a reoccurring thing today because Chinese names, you know. But thanks for the follow. What's up? What's poppin', guys? You can call me Sammer, but you did pronounce it correctly. Okay, okay, Sammer. Sammer. I'm glad you guys I'm glad you guys are here for the yaoi reading. There's probably not going to be any explicit yaoi in the first couple chapters yet, but you know, there's pretty men and politics, and we love you know, as a wise person named Stitch once said when reviewing this book on YouTube, you have to understand the political intrigue to appreciate the boners, okay? Something like that. Something like that. And I'm really glad we're here, okay? Let me just make sure everything that needs to be muted is muted. Okay, seems like it. Alright. Love how everybody's here for the hate sex when this is mostly gonna be politics. Yeah, it's gonna be politics at the start, okay? Let me read like the back of the book to y'all so you can get an idea. Also, my book is shiny because I have the habit of just wrapping my books in plastic to protect them. I am a nerd, okay? Again, don't judge me on how I read these Chinese names. I'm trying my best, but I might fuck up sometimes, you know. You know. Anyway, Scourge of a Nation. Shen Tishuan is the 8th son of the traitorous prince of Jiangxing, a man who doomed his cities and people to destruction at the hands of the foreign enemy. As the only surviving member of his reviled line, Shen Tishuan bears the hatred of the nation, and no one's hate burns hotter than that of Zhao Qiye, the youngest son of the powerful prince of Libei. Zhao Qiye would love nothing more than to see Shen Tishuan dead, but against all odds, he clings to life. Rather than succumb to his family's disgrace, he becomes a thorn in Zhao Qiye's side, clawing his way into the cutthroat politic world of the capital. Yet as these two bitter enemies struggle against the bonds of their fate, they find themselves drawn together with a force neither expected, and neither can hope to resist. It's gay! Woo! Okay, yeah, so I think what we're gonna do, because I'm very passionate about the illustrations in this book, and maybe it'll, like, motivate you guys to, like, stick around, you know? Hi, Slav. You're still banned, dude, even if you go on YouTube. Just a second, guys. I don't know how to block people. I'll do this for now. Yeah, I need to figure out how to ban, because that person is banned from my Twitch because of stuff they said. So I need to, like, figure out how to ban people on YouTube as well, because I don't want them there either. A thorn in his side, a hole for his... Stop! Maya! Oh my goodness! Crazy. Okay, yeah, we're looking at the pictures first, okay? I hope it doesn't spoil too much, but this is a book full of, like, very good illustrations. We have like the cover again, and we have a whole map that I will put on the screen once we actually start reading, because this is very political, okay? We need to know where everything takes place. It's so pretty. And look, they're so cute. They're so pretty. They're flowy, long hair, and their robes, like, they're so cute. I love, like, ancient Chinese gays, I swear. You know what? I've decided I'm not gonna show all the pictures. I'm just gonna show the last picture. I'm just gonna show the last picture, okay? Just give me a second. Because this is the important shit. This is where we're going, okay? This is where we're going, okay? Meow! They look even prettier without them flowing robes. I'll tell you what, you're so right. You're so right. Okay, let me put up the image. This is the map. It'll cover up a little bit of the chat, but you know, it is what it is. Now, the way we're gonna do this is if there's like something I want to comment on, I'm gonna comment on it. I don't give a shit. Like if I want to interject while reading, I'll do it, you know? This is not like a what's it called, an audiobook. This is me reading this book to y'all, reacting to it even though I did read it before, okay? And what we're also gonna do is I'm gonna mute like alerts. So I'll try to look at a chat between like the lines sometimes, but I might not be as quickly responsive to whatever you guys are saying because I'm gonna be reading, you know. I hope I don't fuck up and fumble, but you know, let me just mute the alerts real quick. Alright. We should be good. We should be good. And if there's anything wrong with like the video or the stream, like you guys just let me know. Alright? I'll try my best. Let me drink. Are you guys ready? Yo. That could have ended badly. Imagine, that could have ended badly. Did I not mute the stuff? Well, thank you for the hydrate. That could have ended badly. That could have ended with me accidentally face revealing, okay? Welcome back, Linktra. Thank you again for your subby, for resubscribing. Alright, I also got something I wanted to put up. Pretty keyboard. It's very dirty. I'm very embarrassed about it. What are we doing here? We're reading porn. We're reading BL. We're reading a BL novel called Ballad of Sword and Wine. Yeah, no, I'm not joking. Yeah, we're reading a novel. I'll try my best not to fumble. Anyway, alerts are muted. You guys can still redeem stuff, but obviously it's not gonna play the sound. Does an accidental face reveal while reading erotica and they're just solid red-faced. This is I'm assuming I would look red while reading stuff like this, but again, nothing happens until like later on, you know? We gotta get through the politics first. You wanted the gulp. I'm so sorry. It's just 300 pages before the actual porn. Yeah, we're not gonna get there this stream. I'm not sitting here for like 12 hours. Well, yeah, imagine like I'm some weird fucking dude. Just like with crumbs on the edges of my face, just reading porn on stream, you know. Yeah, that's just that. Alright, guys, I'm actually gonna start. Get comfy, get a snack. Like, feel free to do other stuff on the side. We're gonna be here for a while, okay? I will, like, obviously sometimes. You sound too pretty to be a weird fucking dude. I need 12 hours of erotica. Read it in a fedora wearing via stop. That would be so tiring. Okay, you guys are actually distracting me. You guys are so distracting. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. Go grind Genshin. Go grind Genshin. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys a lot, okay? I'll try my best not to fumble. Alright, let's go. Frigid wind. Shen Wei, the prince of Jianxing, suffered a crushing defeat at Shashi River in the northeast. The prefecture of Danzhou's front line fell into enemy hands, and 30,000 soldiers were buried alive in the Shashi sinkhole. You were among them. So, how is it that you're the only one left alive? Chen Chiswan's eyes were glazed and unfocused. He didn't answer. The interrogator slammed his hands on the table and leaned in, a vicious glint in his eyes. Shan Wei had long been in secret communication with the 12 tribes of Bianxia. He intended to hand the 6 prefectures to Zhongbo, to our enemies on a silver platter. Together with your Bianxia allies, you plan to breach the defenses of Chudu, from within and without. This is why the Bianxia horsemen spared your life, is it not? Chen Chishuan's dry, chapped lips parted as he struggled to understand the interrogator's words. The jut of his throat bobbed as he answered with difficulty. No. Shen Wei immolated himself to escape judgment. The embroidered uniform guard has already presented correspondence proving his secret liaisons with the Biancha tribes to the Emperor. And yet, boy, you still deny it. Your stubbornness borders on stupidity, the interrogator snapped. Chen Chishuan's head felt heavy, his mind dazed. I gotta make sure that like this is in the picture. Hold on. That might be blocked a little bit. Chen Chishuan's head felt heavy, his mind dazed. He had no idea how long it'd been since he last slept. He felt as though he was hanging from a single thread thousands of feet in the air. He negligently let go for if he negligently let go for so much as an instant, he would plummet to the ground and be smashed to pieces. The interrogator opened Chen Chishuan's written statement and gave it a cursory glance. You said last night you were able to climb out of the Shashi sinkhole alive because your elder brother protected you? Is that so? The scene swam hazily before Chen Chishuan's eyes. The sinkhole was so deep. Countless soldiers packed together within, but even as the pile of corpses grew higher and higher beneath their feet, still they could not reach the edge. No matter how they struggled, they couldn't climb out. The Biancha horsemen surrounded the sinkhole, and the whistle of arrows mingled with the frigid night wind. The blood rose up to his calves, as the anguished wails and final gasps of the dying crowded close to his ears. Chen Chishuan's breaths came fast and shallow, and he shivered in his seat. He clutched at his hair despite himself, unable to prevent a strangled sob from escaping his throat. You're lying. The interrogator held up the statement and flicked it with a finger. Your brother is Shen Zhouji, the eldest lawful son of the Prince of Jianxing. This brother of yours abandoned 30,000 soldiers before the Chashi sinkhole and attempted to stealthily flee with his own private guards. The Biancha horsemen lassoed him with a rope and dragged him to death on the public road along the Chashi River. He was dead by the time the 12 tribes of Biancha slaughtered those soldiers in the sinkhole. It's impossible for him to have saved you. Time to not think about how young Lonzo is at this point. Isn't he like 14 or 15 at this point? Because I think he's like 14, 15, something like that. Jesus Christ, imagine. No, actually, don't imagine, it's horrible. Chen Chishuan's mind was a whirl. The interrogator's voice sounded so far away. All he could hear were the unending wails. Which way out? Where are the reinforcements? The dead crowded against the dead. Putrid, decaying flesh pressed down on his hands. Muge shielded him from above, sprawled over his bloodied corpses. Chen Chishuan listened to Muge's ragged breaths, and the cries that escaped his throat were those of despair. Your brother is invincible. Jimu struggled to squeeze out a smile, but tears were streaming down his face, and his voice hitched as he continued. I'm an impregnable fortress. Just hang on a little longer. It'll be fine. Reinforcements will arrive soon. When they'll come, we'll go home and get our parents, and I need to find your sister-in-law. Come clean with it! The interrogator barked, banging on the table. Chen Chishuan began to struggle as if to break free of invisible shackles, but the embroidered uniform guard swarmed over and pinned him to the table. Since you arrived in our imperial prison, I've taken your youth into account and haven't meted out severe punishment, but it seems you don't know what's good for you. Don't blame us if we're ruthless. Men, carry out his punishment. Chen Chishuan's arms were bound with rope. They dragged him to an open space in the chamber. Someone set down a bench with a clatter and tied his legs to it. The burly man beside him lifted his broad wooden staff, hefted it briefly in his hands, and swung it down. I'll ask you one more time. The interrogator brushed at the foam on his tea with the lid of his cup. I forgot to. Hold on. Just a second. Phone, you're muted. Don't interject. Fuck. I'll ask you one more time. The interrogator brushed at the foam on his tea with the lid of his cup and took a few unhurried sips. Did Shen Wei collude with our enemies and commit treason? Chen Chishuan gritted his teeth and refused to yield. He shouted between strikes of the heavy staff. No! The interrogator set his cup aside. The Shan clan wouldn't be in this position today if you'd shown such fortitude on the battlefield. Continue. Shanwei didn't collude with the enemy. Chen Shishun rasped, his head hanging and his voice hoarse. He was crumbling, bit by bit. Wait, who's saying this? Who's saying this? Hold on. Oh, this is the interrogator, okay. We suffered a crushing defeat at the battle in Shashi River, all because Shanwei recklessly met the enemy head on. After that loss, he had a chance to turn to the tide and at the Dunso front line. Yet despite his great advantage in strength over the enemy troops, he withdrew his forces. Because of this, the free cities of Duanzhou prefecture fell into enemy hands. 10,000s of common citizens lost their lives at the end of the Biancha scimitars. The interrogator heaved a lengthy sigh and continued with rueful disdain. All 6 prefectures of Zhongbo were bathed in blood. Shanwei took his troops and retreated south once again, but the battle he fought in Dengzhou prefecture was the most suspect of all. The Qijun commandery garrison from the Qidong had already crossed Tianfei watchtower to provide assistance, yet he abandoned his pincer attack. Instead, he mobilized thousands of cavalry to escort his own family to the city of Dancheng. The entire front line at Dengzhou prefecture collapsed without these troops. Was this not intentional sabotage? If it weren't for the Libe armored cavalry racing 3 days and nights to cross the glacial river, the Biancha horsemen would even now be at the gates of Chudu. Chen Chishwan was drenched in cold sweat, his consciousness fading. The interrogator flung the statement at him in contempt, and it slapped against the back of his head. Rather a dog than a man of Zhongbo, ah? Shen Wei is a sinner before Great Zhou. Do you yet deny it? You have no choice but accept your guilt. Chen Chishwan was in agony, half his body numb. He lay collapsed on the bench, the paper fluttering before his eyes. The ink strokes on it were clear, every character like humiliating lash of a whip on his face, announcing to the world, Shan Wei betrayed his country. He's less than a dog. They had left the 6 prefectures of Zhongbo piled high with bodies. To date, the corpses at the bottom of the Chashi sinkhole remained uncollected. Everyone in the cities of Donsho who might have collected them had been massacred. Shanwei had burned himself to death, it was true, but this debt of blood must be borne by a living person. Shanwei had a harem of wives and concubines who bore him a bounty of sons, but every one of them had perished when the Biancha horsemen entered Duanzhou. Only because Shen Chishuan was of low birth, raised far from the family, had he managed to escape with his life. They dragged Shen Chishuan back to his cell, his heels leaving twin trails of blood in their wake. He faced the wall and gazed at the small, narrow window. Outside, the frigid wind howled, and the snow came pelting down. The night, black as pitch, stretched out without end. In his head was primal chaos. Amid the cries of the wind, his mind wandered back to the sinkhole. Jimu was dying. His breathing had grown labored. Blood dripped down his armor onto the back of Shen Chishuan's neck, where it quickly turned cold. The wails around him had quieted, leaving only the groans of unendurable pain and the bellows of the biting wind. Shen Chishuan lay nose to nose with a dead man whose features were no longer recognizable. His legs were pinned under the weight of human bodies. A shield dug painfully into his ribs. All he could smell as he gasped for air was the thick stench of blood. He gritted his teeth, tears streaming down his face, but he couldn't afford to cry out loud. In despair, he stared down at the face trampled beyond recognition, yet could not tell if this was a soldier he knew. Gah, Chen Chishuan sobbed softly. I'm scared. Jimu's throat bobbed. He gently patted Shen Chishuan's head. It's all right. We'll be okay. Shen Chishuan heard the singing of the soldiers at death's door. The gale tore apart the sound of their songs and sent tattered pieces fluttering away in the frigid night. Battle in the city south, death within the city north. Graveless, left exposed to rot, made the crows feed. Gah, Chen Chishuan whispered beneath him. I'll carry you on my back, Gah. Jimu's body was like bent and like a bent and broken shield. He smiled and said in a hoarse voice, I can walk on my own. Were you struck by an arrow? No. Jimu's tears had dried up. He said breezily, those Bianca baldies have no aim. Lamau. Damn, imagine crazy. Chen Shuan's fingers were soaked in flesh and blood. He wiped his face with some difficulty. Xinyang made some dumplings. Once we get home, we can eat as many as we'd like. Jimu sighed. I'm a slow eater. Don't snatch. Chen Shuan gave him a firm nod beneath him. The snow gradually blanketed Jimu's body. He seemed very tired. So quiet was his voice that he hadn't even the strength to move his fingers. The song was sung achingly slow, and when it reached the line, the valiant rider died in the fray, Jimu closed his eyes. I'll give Ge my money too, to get married, said Shen Shuan. Ge? Ge? Jimu remained silent, as if he were weary of listening to Shen Shuan speak and couldn't help but drift off. Shen Shuan trembled all over. He didn't remember when the Bianca horseman left or how he had clawed his way out. When he finally pushed himself up and pulled himself out, it was too dead silence amid the heavy snow. The stacked corpses cushioning his knees had the look of discarded burlap sacks. This is so graphic. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. No, I'm not crying, you're crying. This is so sad. Bro, I'm here for the porn. What is this? Just kidding. Just kidding. We need to get through this, okay? I hope my reading is understandable. I know I've been fumbling a little bit. I'm not that used to reading anymore. They really started with the big D, the big sad, depression, yeah. TBH, crying while reading a book has never happened to me. I don't know if people have that. I did that. I cried when I was reading another Danmei book, when I was reading Husky and His White Cat Shizun. There's like a specific scene where like Chu Wanning dies, spoiler, I guess. And yeah, I cried there, But it's okay because things resolve themselves. Where was I? This is this one? Like, this is the only book you cried over, Maya? I haven't read volume 2 yet, so I don't know if more sad stuff happened there, but this chapter is pretty fucking sad, yeah. But hey, they started with the big D, okay? You get a D at least, okay? We're here for the emotional dick, alright? Chen Shuan turned to glance down and choked with sobs. Jimu's back had been pierced with such a dense cluster of arrows that his body was like a curled hedgehog. All his blood had trickled down onto Shen Shuan's back, but Shen Shuan hadn't realized it. The thunder of horses' hoofs came swiftly toward him like the looming storm. Shen Shuan shivered and jolted violently awake. He felt like retching, but then he realized his wrists had been firmly bound, and a burlap sack filled with soil was pressing down on his body. The sack became heavier and heavier as it crushed his chest. He couldn't make a sound. This was an old prison trick habitually inflicted on prisoners whose jailers would rather see them dead than alive. By smothering them with an earth-filled sack, they would leave no trace of injury. Had Shen Shuan not woken up when he did, by daybreak, he would have been but a corpse gone cold. Someone was trying to kill him. And it's not his love interest. Yet! Not yet! Wow. Chapter 1 already gone. Are we crying? Volume 1 has a scene that's just... I don't remember. I read this... When was this? June? When did this come out? It came out in June, right? I think I read it like in June. So I don't remember every detail because a lot of things were lost in me trying to understand the political intrigue, Anyway, let's keep going, okay? Every chapter we go, we get closer to This Is How I Met Your Mother, Chapter 2, Death by Flogging. In the gloom of the imperial prison, Shen Zhexuan desperately twisted his wrists, but his hands were cold. His lungs were beginning to ache, and the rope was so tight it was futile. The sack of earth pressed down on his chest. He felt as if he'd been thrown into a deep pond. His ears rang and his breath came in frantic bursts, like he was drowning. Chen Zhixuan shifted his gaze to the candlelight beyond the bars. In the hall, several members of the embroidered uniform guard were drinking and shouting as they played a finger-guessing game, too preoccupied to spare Chen Zhixuan a glance. The sack of earth nailed him to the crude straw mat, and suffocating nausea engulfed him like floodwater. His vision swam. Chen Zhixuan raised his head and gritted his teeth to move his legs. They had been flogged numb. He felt nothing when he raised them. He placed his foot against the left corner of the wooden bed where vermin had eaten away its sturdiness. On his first day, he'd damaged it by just sitting down. Oh, is it like that rotten? Holy shit. He struggled to gather a breath. Chen Zhixuan braced himself and kicked that rotten corner with all his strength. His legs were so weak, the bed didn't even groan. The planks hadn't moved an inch. Cold sweat streamed down his back, soaking his shirt. He yearned to live. Chen Zhixuan whimpered frantically. He bit his tongue until it bled and kicked the planks again. Jimu's mangled, barely recognizable body was the horsewhip at his back, spurring on him. His brother's voice echoed in his ears. He must live. Chen Zhixuan struck the plank furiously until he finally heard a dull thud. Half of the slats collapsed, and he slid off to one side, the heavy sack tumbling down beside him. He hit the ground and gasped as if breaking through the water's surface. The ground of the cell was icy. Chen Zhixuan's injured legs were useless, so he propped himself up with his elbows. Sweat trickled down the bridge of his nose. Despite the cold of the prison, his body was burned as if his insides were coming to a boil. At last, he put his head down to dry heave. Shenwei deserved to die. There were 120,000 troops in Zhongbo, divided among the 6 prefectures to form a defensive perimeter. After the defeat at Shashi River, the Biancha horsemen had invaded Duanzhou. It was as the interrogator said. At that point, there had still been a chance to turn things around. Not only did Shenwei have a well-trained and powerful army, he had ample provisions and the authority to deploy the garrison troops in the 3 cities of Duanzhou. Yet, to everyone's surprise, he had abandoned the prefecture and cowered back into the Duanzhou prince's manor. This retreat was prelude to the fall of Zhongbo. The Biancha horsemen slaughtered Duanzhou's 3 cities, after which the garrison, their morale shattered, fled south in panic. Everyone had thought Shenwei would make his stand against the 12 tribes of Biancha in Duanzhou, yet he had taken to the road again, at first news of their arrival. Time and time again, the Zhongbo army had retrieved in defeat, while the Biancha horsemen cut through the 6 prefectures' territories like a steel blade. They traveled light, feeding on the spoils of war as they advanced until they were within 800 li of Chudu, the capital of the Zhou Empire. Had Shenwei implemented a scorched earth policy during his retreat and burned the granaries in the cities he left behind, there would have been nothing left for the enemy, and no way for the Biancha horsemen to advance so far. The invaders carried no supplies and relied solely on the cities they conquered to replenish their provisions. If the grain had been ash, the Biancha horsemen would have starved. A starving soldier could not fight. The Libe armored cavalry could have seized a chance, crossed the glacial river, and intercepted the Biancha tribes. The Biancha tribes retreat, while the garrison troops from the Qidong's 5 commanderies sealed off their escape route from the Tianfei watchtower. The Biancha scimitars would have been trampled like turtles in a tub. They wouldn't have survived the winter, but Shenwei had done none of that. Not only did he abandon any resistance, he abandoned the city granaries still intact. The enemy fed on Zhou grain. Wait, hold on. The enemy fed on Zhou grain as they raised Zhou lands. Thanks to Shenwei, the Biancha horsemen were well fed enough to where Zhongbo's common folk and to herd Zhongbo's common folk and capture soldiers all the way to Shashi River, where the horsemen butchered them all in a single night. Chen Chishwan had escaped by the skin of his teeth. Now that Chudu wanted to settle accounts, it was obvious that Chen Wei's deployment orders had been unusually sloppy. All signs pointed to his collusion with the Biancha. Yet to escape justice, Shen Wei had not only immolated himself, but destroyed any relevant documents along with him. Even the embroidered guard, notoriously effective and efficient in their investigations, were at their wits' end. If the Emperor wanted the truth, his only recourse was to get answers at any cost, from the only remaining individual who might know, Chen Cheshuan. However, the son of a dancer in Duanzhou, Chen Wei's eighth son of common birth, had no place in the clan. Whether in rank or age, the man had too many sons. Chen Cheshuan had been sent away to Duanzhou long ago to fend for himself, and Shen Wei had likely forgotten the son's existence. And yet someone wanted to kill him. It was no secret that many wanted him dead. He had been brought to Chudu as a scapegoat for his father. As the last member of the Shan clan in Zhongbo, he was obligated to pay for his father's debts. Once his interrogation in the imperial prison was over, the emperor could no doubt offer Shen Cheshuan's death as an appeasement to the souls of the 30,000 soldiers who lost their lives at the Shashi River. Even so, it shouldn't happen through an assassination in the dead of night. Shen Cheshuan spat blood and wiped his lips with his thumb. If Shen Wei had indeed conspired with the enemy, then Shen Cheshuan's death was only a matter of time. Why bother to assassinate an insignificant common son? Someone in the capital was worried about the interrogation, and if that was the case, then there must be more to the defeat of Shen Wei's troops than meet the eye. But Shen Cheshuan knew nothing. He had a Shifu in Duanzhou. His brother, Jimu, had been his Shifu's only son. To Shen Cheshuan, Shen Wei was merely the prince of Jiangxing. Shen Cheshuan had nothing to do with him, and absolutely no idea whether Shen Wei had committed treason. Nevertheless, he had to deny it. Sprawled on the frigid ground of his cell, he felt even more alert than during the day. He knew he was a felon held by the embroidered uniform guard under imperial edict. All arrest warrants, summons, and official documents came directly from the top, consigning him straight from the hands of Xiao Jiming, the heir of Libei, to the imperial prison. They had bypassed even the joint tribunal of the three judicial offices, the Ministry of Justice, the Court of Judicial Review, and the Chief Surveillance Bureau. It was clear that the Emperor was determined to get to the bottom of this. Who had the guts to risk silencing him before the Emperor could complete his interrogation? The bitter wind howled at the window. In the darkness, Chen Cheshuan stared at the wall. He dared not close his eyes again. Dawn had scarcely broken when Chen Cheshuan was escorted back to the hall. A snowstorm raged outside. Jilei, the interrogator, had been nothing but grim these past few days. Yet now he was all smiles as he wailed deferentially beside a wooden armchair and served tea with both hands. A fair-faced, beardless old eunuch sat in the chair, resting his eyes. He wore the official hat of a eunuch in velvet for the wintry weather, with an ornately embroidered mandarin square on his robe, a gourd at its center to mark the season. His overcoat was draped over his shoulder, and he held an exquisite plum blossom hand-warmer of gold and jade. Sensing movement, he opened his eyes and looked at Shen Cheshuan. Godfather, Jilei bent to say, here is the filthy descendant of Prince of Jiangxing. Pan Rugui eyed Shen Cheshuan. What happened here? Pan Rugui was not asking how Shen Cheshuan had ended up dirty and stinking, but why Jilei hadn't yet prized the house and were forces from him. Jilei's forehead ran with sweat, but he didn't dare wipe it. Still hunched, he responded, the boy is ignorant. He's been delirious since they brought him back from Zhongbo. Who knows who put him up to it, but he refuses to confess. A felon by His Majesty's own decree, Pandrugui did not accept the tea. A child no older than 16 sent to the farmed imperial prison to be personally interrogated by your esteemed self, and you can't get a confession out of him? So he's like 16. He baby. Leave this kid alone. God damn. He did nothing. Leave him alone. Still holding the teacup, Chile smiled sheepishly. His importance is precisely why I didn't dare to use harsher methods without authorization. He's literally a kid! Like, leave him alone, man! He was already ill when he arrived. If he dies in our hands, the case against Shenwei will go cold. Panrugwei scrutinized Shen Zhishuan for a moment. We're all our master's dogs. There's no point in keeping a dog whose fangs has been dulled. Damn, I hate both of these guys. Yeah, Huck too. I hate both of them too. Like they're awful. Like just leave this kid alone. He did nothing. Look at him. He's too beautiful, too cute, too just leave him. Just leave him be. My god. Where was I? We're all our master's dogs. There's no point in keeping a dog whose fangs have been dulled. I know you have your own challenges, but this is part of your duty. His Majesty wishes to see him now. This is his way of showing consideration for the embroidered uniform guard. What do you have to complain about? Jile hurriedly prostrated himself. It is as Godfather says, this son has been duly castigated. What the fuck does that mean? Pandrugui snorted. Clean him up. Can't appear before His Majesty covered in filth. An attendant led Shen Zhishuan away to wash and bandage his injured legs, then gave him a set of clean cotton clothes. I can't read anymore, guys. I can't read. Why am I doing a reading stream if I can't fucking read? Oh god. He allowed himself to be shuffled about. He was in such pain he could barely walk, and it took quite an effort to even step up to the carriage. As Shen Zhishuan departed, Pandrugui finally accepted the cup from Jile. Staring after the carriage, he asked, Is it truly the last of the Shen clan? Yes, the sole survivor of the Chashi sinkhole, the heir of Li Bei captured him personally. He was detained in the Li Bei armored cavalry's prison wagon the whole way and had no contact with anyone else. Pandrugui sipped his cold tea. After a long time, he gave Jile a smile that didn't reach his eyes. The heir of Li Bei certainly is discreet. What does he mean by that? Okay, well, sussy, very sussy. Shen Zhishuan stepped down from the carriage and let the guards hustle him down a long path. The heavy snow below his face blew into his face, and the Yunch leading the way hurried along without any unnecessary chatter. When Pan Rugwe arrived before Mingli Hall, his arrival had already been announced. The junior Yunch waiting under the eaves stepped forward and took Pan Rugwe's overcoat, helped him shrug on his outer robe, and took over the hand warmer. Pan Rugwe kowtowed to the door and said, Your Majesty, this lowly servant has brought the boy. There was a pause. A low, unhurried voice rang out, Bring him in. Shen Zhishuan's breath hitched, but they were already dragging him inside. Though there was incense burning, it wasn't stifling. He heard intermittent coughs and caught a glimpse of a feet lined up on both sides of the hall. The Shande Emperor was dressed in a deep blue day robe that couldn't hide his frailty. Illness had constantly plagued him in the 3 years since he had ascended to the throne. His pallid complexion made his oblong face look all the more gentle and delicate. Jile has been trying him for several days now. The Shanda Emperor glanced at Jile, who was kneeling at the back of the hall. Have you discovered the truth? Jile kowtowed. To answer your majesty, this boy's words are incoherent and his story is full of holes. Nothing he said can be believed. All his words are contradictory. Present his testimony, the emperor commanded. Jile produced a written statement from within his robe and handed it respectfully to Pandrugwe, who in turn hurried forward to present it to the emperor with all due reverence. The Shande emperor had read it through. When he reached the part about the Chashi sinkhole, he covered his mouth and began to cough. He refused to let Pandrugwe help him. Instead, he wiped the blood from his lips himself with a handkerchief. 30,000 soldiers lost their lives in that sinkhole, he said solemnly. Had Shen Wei lived, he would have suffered the wrath of all. Shen Zhishuan closed his eyes as his heart began to pound. He already knew what was coming. Raise your head, His breathing quickened. His palms braced against the floor were numb. Chen Shishwen raised his head slowly, his eyes carefully landing on the Shunder Emperor's boots. The Emperor looked down at him. As Shen Wei's son and the sole survivor of the Chashi sinkhole, what do you have to say? Chen Shishwen's eyes grew red at the rims. He shivered with wordless sobs. The Emperor's expression never changed. Speak. As Shen Shishwen raised his head, tears rolled down his cheeks. He glanced up for a fleeting moment, then kowtowed hard against his shoulders. Kowtowed hard again, his shoulders shaking as the sobs rose in his throat. Your Majesty, Your Majesty, my father was devoted to the nation and his countrymen in Zhongbo. He was too ashamed to face them after his losses in the battlefield. That's why he set himself on fire to atone. What nonsense, the Emperor barked. If he was devoted to the nation, why did he retreat time and time again? Chen Shishwen's voice was hoarse from weeping. My father sent all his sons into the field. My eldest brother, Chen Shouji, was tortured to death by the Biancho rider who dragged him behind his horse along the Chashi public road. If it were not for undivided loyalty, why risk his own hair? You dare bring up Chashi. Chen Shouji fled from the front lines. His crime is unpardonable. Chen Shishwan looked up at the Emperor, tears leaving tracks down his cheeks. The battle at Chashi was a bloodbath, he rasped. My eldest brother might be incompetent, but he defended Chashi for 3 days. In those 3 days, vital intelligence was able to reach Qidong and Libei. If it weren't for those 3 days... He was so choked with emotion he couldn't go on. The Emperor reread the statement in his hand. The hall was quiet, save for the sound of Chen Shishwan's sobs. In the interminable silence, Chen Shishwan dug his fingernails into flesh. Abruptly, the Emperor let out a long sigh. Did Shen Wei collude with the enemy? Never! Chen Shishwan's voice was resolute. The Emperor set down the statement and declared in a voice that had gone frigid, This cunning boy attempts to deceive his sovereign. He must not be allowed to live. Panrugui, have him flogged to death at the Duanshen gate. Yes, your Majesty. Panrugui immediately bowed and retreated. No, we're not gonna kill this boy. Don't kill the boy. Chen Shishwan went cold, as if doused with a basin of icy water. Struggle as he might, it was useless. The guards clamped his mouth shut as they dragged him out of the Mingli Hall. He did nothing! Leave him alone! Man, he's like literally that meme of like, why are we here just to suffer? Like, literally. This boy has done nothing. Like, imagine your dad goes out to get milk, never comes back, and then like, under some weird circumstances, he commits crimes and somehow you have to pay for it. I'm like, sir, I'm lactose intolerant and I've not seen my dad in years. Gosh dang it. Yeah, honestly, sometimes surviving. Thank you for playing that, but I don't think you couldn't hear it. I don't think you could hear it because I muted the sounds. I'm out of lactose intolerant. No, I swear to God. Hold on. I gotta sit a little differently. But guys, let me know, please. Am I going too fast? Am I reading too not understandable? Am I clear in my reading? Or is there something you guys want me to change? I want to make this pleasant. I'm good. I'm good. You guys enjoying the political porn? I'm super glad you are. I don't even need confirmation. I know you guys are. It's all good. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I fumble. I haven't read in a while, so I don't know how many times I said fumble in this stream, but it's been a lot. Anyway, let's keep going. All good, all good, all good. Alright, chapter 3. Raptor. Pandrugwe strode toward Duanshen Gate. The embroidered uniform guard flanked the path, silent cicadas in the winter. The instant Pandrugwe announced the Emperor's edict, the guards began their work. They gagged Chen Shishwan and swiftly wrapped him in a thick cotton-padded garment, forcing him face down on the ground. In the freezing wind, Pandrugwe leaned over to observe Chen Shishwan's predicament. He raised his fingers to delicately cover his lips and coughed a few times before murmuring, "You're a mere child, yet you had the gall to put up such a mawkish display before His Majesty. If you had truthfully confessed Shenwei's treason, you might have stood a chance." Stop. Gresh, this is not the moment to be horny, okay? God damn it. They can gag me too. God, what are you saying? He's about to be flogged to death. It's no laughing matter, man. And yet I'm laughing. Chen Shishwan shut his eyes. Chen Shishwan shut his eyes tightly. Cold sweat soaked his clothes. Pandrugui straightened. "Begin." The guards shouted in unison. "Begin!" A thunderous roar followed. "Strike!" Before the word was out, the iron-wrapped shaft with its hooked barbs whistled down onto Shen Shishwan's back. After 3 strikes, another shout. "Harder!" The searing pain of the blows built into a fire until he couldn't move except to bite desperately on the gag between his teeth. The blood in his throat pooled faster than he could swallow, and the copper taste of it coated his mouth. Chen Shishwan clung to his last breaths as dripping sweat stung his wide open eyes. The sky was overcast, and the heavy snow fell like catkins. Flogging was not a task assigned to just anyone. As the saying went, faint at 20, lame at 50. To do it well required skill. It was a handed down the generation, a family trade. Moreover, this job required not just physical prowess, but also a discerning eye. The experienced flogger needed only to glance at the expressions of the high-ranking eunuch from the Directorate of the Ceremonial to determine who should receive superficial wounds but serious internal injuries and vice versa. The Emperor's decree was death by flogging, and Pandrugwe seemed to show no sympathy. There was no chance of an about face this person had to die. Thus the embroidered uniform guard held nothing back. They would make certain Shencheshwan was dead within 50 strikes. Pandrugui, minding the time, noticed Shencheshwan had already gone motionless. He said, lolling. Placing a hand on the warm little. Okay, I'm struggling. Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta drink. Hold on. I'm struggling. I'm struggling really hard. Multiple men around me. It's exactly the moment to be horny. Jesus Christ. Okay, Gresh, you know what? You play D&D. I'm not surprised at all. Wowie, we horny today. We're horny today. Alright, maybe I can read properly now. Pandrugui, minding the time, noticed Shencheshwan had already gone motionless, his head lolling. Placing a hand on the hand warmer, he was about to give further instructions when he saw an umbrella drifting toward them in the path, hiding a beauty in royal garb. The dark clouds on Pandrugui's face were instantly dispersed and replaced by a smile. Though he did not personally step out to receive her, the quick-witted junior eunuch beside him rushed over to offer his arm. "My sincere respects to the third lady. This is such a cold day. Is Her Majesty the Empress Dowager... If Her Majesty the Empress Dowager has any instructions, surely someone else would do to carry them," Pandrugui said. Coming forward, Hua Xianyi raised her hand lightly to stay the embroidered uniform guard. Hold on. The baby girl. The baby girl. Delicate and beautiful, she had been raised at the Empress Dowager's side since childhood and was said to bear quite a resemblance to her aunt in her youth. Although she was addressed as the third lady of the Dicheng clan here in Chudu, everyone knew she was a distinguished lady of the palace. Even the emperor doted on her as if she were truly his younger sister. Gong Gong. Is the boy from Zhongbo clan Shen Chishwen? Hua Yang said in soft, measured voice. The very same, Pandrugui replied, keeping pace with Hua Qiang's steps. His Majesty has issued a decree to flog him to death. His Majesty spoke in anger earlier. Hua Yang Shanli. No, that's a different one. Jesus. Hua Shangyi said, "If Shen Shishwen dies, we'll never get to the bottom of Shen Wei's treason. Her Majesty the Empress Dowager arrived at Mingli Hall a little while ago. His Majesty heeded her advice, and he has calmed himself." "Oh my!" Panrugui exclaimed. "His Majesty always listens to the Empress Dowager's counsel. He was in such a terrible rage earlier, I dared not to say a word." "His Majesty's decree was flogging. Haven't you done so?" Hua Xiangyi said, smiling at Panrugui. Panrugui took a few more steps and smiled in return. "Of course! I was in such a rush earlier. As soon as I heard the word flog, I made sure to give him a good beating. How should we deal with him now?" "Keep him in the imperial prison until His Majesty wishes to question him again. Preserving the boy's life is of utmost importance. I'm counting on Gonggong to inform Lord Yi to take good care of him." Hua Changyi said, her gaze sweeping over Shan Shishwen. "Say no more," Pandui replied. "Jilei wouldn't think of turning a deaf ear to the third lady's wishes. The weather is cold and the ground is slippery. Xiaofutsu, be sure to hold the third lady steady." Women. Everyone becomes weak when women. We love women in this household. The moment Hua Xiangyi had gone, Pandrugui turned to the 2 rows of guards. "His Majesty gave the order to flog, and we've done what's required. Drag him back. You heard the third lady. It is the Empress Dowager's wish. Tell Jilei, everyone with a hand in this case is leagues above his level. If something happens to the boy on his watch." Pandrugui coughed once. "Even if the Jade Emperor himself couldn't save him." Xiaofutsu returned to support Pandrugui by the arm. The long stretch of road was empty, but he still furtively whispered, Lao Chuzhugong, if we let him go like this, His Majesty will not blame us later?" "His Majesty knows in his heart that the blame does not lie with us," Pandrugui said, pacing through the snow. Snowflakes squeezed their way under his fur collar. A promise is worth 1,000 gold. A sovereign reneging on his word does not bode well. His Majesty has suffered another bout of illness from the stress of the Biancha invasion. He will accede to anything the Empress Dowager asks these days. To please her, the Emperor is even considering elevating the third lady to a princess. Never mind, sparing one man's life. Pandrugui looked over at Xiaofutsu. "And when have you ever seen the Empress Dowager change her orders?" In every case, the real master was the one who stood by their word. Chen Chishwan was delirious with fever. One moment he saw Jimu dying before him, the next he saw himself still living in Duanzhou. The wind brushed the banners. His Xinyang lifted the curtain and stepped out carrying a white porcelain bowl of plump dumplings with the skins. "Go tell your brother to come home," she called. "He can't sit still for a second. Tell him to hurry back and eat." Climbing over the veranda railing, Shen Chishwan bounded over to his Xinyang and bit the dumplings right off the chopsticks before running off. It was so hot it scalded his tongue. As he went out the door, huffing to cool his mouth, he spotted his Shifu, Qiang, on the stairs and squatted down beside him. Qiang looked up with a grunt from the rock he was grinding in his hands. "Silly boy, a dumpling is worth hardly anything. You treat it like it's some kind of treasure. Go get your brother, and the 3 of us will go to Yunyuan Tavern for a proper meal." Before Shen Shishwan could answer, his Xinyang was pulling Jigang's ear. "Turning your nose up at my dumplings, huh? Good for you. If you're so rich, what are you doing with a wife? Take these silly boys and go live on your own." "Yes, Queen. Yes! Tell him! Tell him!" Chen Shishwen laughed as he leapt down the stairs, waving to his Shifu and Xinyang before racing out of the alley to find Jimu. But it was snowing heavily. Chen Shishwen couldn't find any trace of him. The longer he walked, the colder he became. "Gah!" Chen Shishwen called into the storm. "Jimu, it's time to come home!" The sound of hoofbeats rose around him. Snow obstructed his vision. Chen Shishwan was trapped in the thunder of hoofs, but he couldn't see anyone. The sound of slaughter exploded in his ears, and warm blood splattered his face. Chen Shishwan felt stabs of pain in both legs as an overwhelming force pinned him down. He saw the dead man's face inches away from his. The deluge of arrows whistled in the wind. The man on his back was heavy, and something warm and sticky trickled down his neck and across his cheeks. This time, he knew what it was. Oh man, the trauma. Give this boy a break. God. This poor boy. And Tishuan woke trembling, drenched in his sweat, yet shivering uncontrollably with cold. He sprawled over the wooden slats of the cot as his eyes struggled to adjust to the darkness. He wasn't alone in the cell. An attendant had been cleaning up and now lit the oil lamp. Chen Cheshuan's throat was painful with thirst. The attendant seemed to anticipate this and set a bowl of cold water on the bed. Waves of sweat and chills washed over him as he slowly launched the bowl toward himself, spilling half the contents in the process. Neither spoke. The attendant withdrew and left Chen Cheshuan in the cell. He slipped in and out of consciousness. The night was dragged on without an end. No matter how long he waited, dawn never came. When the attendant again came to change Chen Cheshuan's bandages, his mind was clearer. Jilei looked at him through the bars and said coldly, "You're one lucky bastard. A scourge truly never dies. The Empress Dowager spared your life. I suppose you don't know why." Chen Cheshuan lowered his head and kept still. "I know your chief is Qigong, the outcast of the land," said Jilei. "We were fellow disciples 20 years ago and served together in the embroidered uniform guard here in Shudu. You probably don't know, but he was once a vice commander of the guard and a third rank official. I'm trained in the same G-style boxing he practiced." Chen Chishwan raised his head and looked at Jilei, who opened the door of the cell and waited for the attendant to leave. Once they were alone, Jilei sat at the edge of Chen Chishwan's bed. Later he got into trouble, bad enough to warrant losing his head, but the late emperor was benevolent and spared his life. Just banished him beyond the pass. Jilei propped his elbows on his knees and grinned at Chen Chishwan from the shadows. "Your Shifu is no talented man. He's just a worthless wretch with no good luck. You know how he survived? Just like you did. Because you're Xinyang. You probably don't even know who she really is. Her name is Hua Pingting, from the same Hua clan of Dincheng that produced the current Empress Dowager. It was for your Xinyang's sake that the Empress Dowager spared your life today." Jilei leaned in and whispered, "But who'd have known that your Xinyang already met her end in the chaos of the attack? Jigang really is a worthless wretch. To lose his father 20 years ago, then lose his wife and son now. Do you know who's to blame? You must know better than anyone. The culprit is Shen Wei." Bro, he just woke up. He has a fever, okay? He's thirsty. He's probably hungry. Leave him alone, okay? I don't think he wants to hear none of that Shen Wei colluded with the enemy type of shit right now. Come on. Just leave him be. Chen Chishwen's breath hitched. Shen Wei abandoned the defensive line at the Shashi River. He allowed the Biancha horsemen in. A scimitar slit your Xinyang's throat, but what she suffered before her last breath would make Ji Gong wish he'd died himself. He continued mercilessly. Guanzhou fell into enemy hands. You said your brother saved you. Jilei sat up and studied the back of his hand. Jimu, huh? Jigong raised you, and Jimu was your older brother. Jigong's only son, and the only continuation of the Jigong bloodline, and the Ji clan's only descendant. But because of Shen Wei, because of you, he's dead too. Pierced by 1,000 arrows, his remains forgotten in that sinkhole, humiliated and trampled under the hooves of Biancha horses. If Jigong's still alive, I wonder how he felt as he collected his son's body. Chen Chishwen surged up, but Jilei easily shoved him back down and held him there. Shen Wei colluded with the enemy and betrayed his country. That is a debt you must shoulder. When you plead for your life today, know that countless ghosts of Zhongbo are wailing for justice. When you dream tonight, seek your Xinyang and your Shifu among the dead. You might be alive, but it's a life more agonizing than death. Can you forgive Shen Wei for all of this? If you exonerate him, then you'll be letting your Shifu and his entire family down. Jigang raised and nurtured you. How could you disgrace him with such a disloyal and unfilial act? Besides, even if you drag out a feeble existence, Not a soul in his world will pity you. Now that you're in Chudu, you've become Shen Wei. The rage of the common folk cannot be quelled. Countless people hate you to the core. Your death is a foregone conclusion. Rather than dying for nothing, why not speak frankly to His Majesty and come clean about Shen Wei's crimes? It would comfort your Shifu's departed spirit. He suddenly stopped. Chen Zhishuan, still pinned to the wooden bed, smiled at him, his deathly pallor gone frostier still. Shen Wei did not collude with the enemy. Chen Zhishuan bit each word out through clenched teeth. Shen Wei never colluded with the enemy. Jilei lifted Chen Zhishuan from the bed and slammed him against the wall. Bits of earth and dust rained down, and the impact was enough to set Chen Zhishuan coughing. There are so many ways to kill you, Jilei said. Unappreciative little bastard. You managed to escape death by the skin of your teeth. Do you think you can survive past today? He kicked the cell door open and dragged Chen Zhishuan into the hall. I'm impartial in my duties and serve the pleasure of the Empress Dowager, but there are plenty in Greatshow that can do as they please without consequence. If you're so hopelessly foolish, I'll honor your wishes. You want to die so badly? Well, someone's here to kill you. The city gates of Chudu opened wide, and a line of pitch-black, armored cavalry stormed through the rolling thunder. Jilei dragged Chen Zhishuan along the main road to meet them. The embroidered uniform guards gathered, and the packed crowd parted to make way for the horses. A Libe gyrofalcon circled overhead as the clang of armor reverberated in Chen Zhishuan's chest. The rumble of hoofs drew nearer. He opened his eyes and saw the horse in the lead charging straight for him. The steed beneath the heavy armor was a ferocious beast, puffing out hot clouds of air. It skidded to a stop just as he threatened to crash into them, and reared back dangerously. Before its front hoofs hit the ground, its rider had already leapt off. Jilei stepped forward, calling, "Welcome, Shao." The rider didn't spare Jilei a glance. He marched straight up to Shen Zhishuan, who barely had time to shift his shackles before the rider kicked him square in the chest, swift as lightning. The kick was so powerful he had no chance to steel himself. The impact sent him tumbling. Chen Zhishuan opened his mouth and vomited until nothing was left but blood. Hey! That's how I met your mother! Yeah, let's go! What a way to fucking meet your future husband, right? Just, he tries to kill you upon first meeting, just kicks you in the chest so hard he could have killed you. Amazing. I love it. This is peak fiction. This is peak fiction, okay? This is amazing. Very sweet of them. Honestly, if I don't meet my future significant other like this, I don't want it. And I'm the one doing the kicking, by the way. I'm just saying. My god. So brutal. Alright. Shao R. Lost Ascendant. Chen Zhishuan watched a pair of soldiers' boots crush the snow underfoot as the stranger approached. When he was close enough, he nudged Chen Zhishuan's face up with a toe, tainting the leather with blood. "Shen Wei's your old man?" The voice was muffled beneath the helmet. Crimson seeped through Chen Zhishuan's clenched teeth despite his best effort to keep it in. Even when he pressed his hands over his mouth, he couldn't hide it. He didn't answer. The stranger looked down at him. "I asked you a question." Chen Zhishuan lowered his head with a muttered, affirmative mouth filled with blood. "He's the eighth son of Shen Wei," Jilei offered, seeing an opening. "His name is Shen—" The stranger removed his helmet, revealing a youthful face. The gyrofalcon wheeling overhead came to land on his shoulder, its wings scattering a puff of fine snow. He looked at Chen Zhishuan as if looking at a pair of worn-out shoes. It was hard to tell if his gaze contained disdain or loathing, but it was frigid and cutting as a blade. Chen Zhishuan didn't know him, but he recognized the Libe armored cavalry. Almost every Danmei I've seen, enemies to lovers, doomed Yao. I swear, this is true enemies to lovers. This is true enemies to lovers, okay? Because everything else, like, they're like, oh my god, this is enemies to lovers, and it's fine, they're still good books, you know, still good stuff, you know? But like, every time they're like, this is still enemies to lovers, and I'm like, no, this is real enemies to lovers, okay? This is real hate sex. This is real, I hate you so much. I want to kill you, okay? And then somehow they make love. I don't know. Well, I love enemies to lovers. It's the best thing ever. I swear. Shenwei had fled pathetically westward. Chiso became Zhongbo's last line of defense. The Libei armored cavalry had sped south, and the heir of Libei, Shizi, Zhao Jiming, led his troops through heavy snow for 3 days without rest, crossing the glacial river straight toward Shizu. To the astonishment of all, Shenwei failed to defend Shizu, and Libei's troops had found themselves besieged. If Zhao Jiming hadn't had reinforcements on the way, it would have ended in another bloodbath. Li Bei had loathed the Shen clan of Zhongbo since that day. This youth was not Xiao Jiming, but he had a gyrfalcon on his shoulder and rode freely in Shudu. He could only be the prince of Li Bei's youngest son and Xiao Jiming's brother, Xiao Qiye. Damn, Xiao Jiming mentioned and Karma didn't appear. Is she like in love with that? Wait, what are the MXS books? Wait, MXS books? Wait, what does that stand for, actually? I swear, we're gonna bully Karma after this, okay? We're gonna text her on Discord and be like, "Hey, yo, guess what I did on stream?" Yeah. Like A Thousand Autumns and Peerless. Yeah, those are true enemies to lovers too. Yeah. Yes, thank you for clarifying. We're gonna bully Karma after this, okay? We're just gonna be like, Xiao Jiming was mentioned and you weren't around, bitch. What up? What up? Chile had a mind to fan the flames, but seeing Deputy General Chao Hui looming behind Chao Chie, he kept his mouth shut. Chao Chie tossed his helmet to Chao Hui. His lips curled into a smile, and that razor-sharp gaze dissolved like melting ice. A frivolous temperament settled over him, like a cloak. Under it, his armor suddenly seemed out of place. Your Excellency, the young man threw his arm around Jilei's shoulder. I've kept you waiting. It's been 2 years since we last met. You've become so distant, our Gongzi. Jilei met Xiao Xie's eyes, and they both laughed. I'm carrying a blade. See? I'm pretty much half a soldier now, Xiao Xie said, pointing down to the scabbard at his belt. Jilei seemed to notice it for the first time. An excellent blade, he chuckled along with Xiao Xie. It must have been a rough journey, coming all the way to the royal rescue. Let's have a drink tonight after your report to His Majesty. Xiao Xie gestured regretfully toward the deputy general behind him. My elder brother sent a minder. How could we drink to our heart's content? How about in a few days, once I have time to breathe? It'll be my treat. Zhao Hui bowed expressionlessly to Jilei. Jilei only smiled in response. To Xiao Qie he said, Let's head to the palace then. The ceremonial guards are expecting you. The pair turned toward the palace, chatting and laughing. Zhao Hui followed, casting a long look at Shen Chishwen as he went. The embroidered uniform guard nearby caught the hint. They hauled Shen Chishwen back to the prison. Jilei watched Xiao Xie all the way until he entered the palace. The moment he was alone with his men, he spat indignantly at the ground. The genial smile dropped, leaving only a sneer. This ruffian was usually so impudent and rash. It would be no surprise if he killed a man. Who would have expected that this numbskull was crafty enough to handle the situation with such care? One kick, and he'd let Shen Chishwen go. Xiao Xie speaks and I'm suddenly bisexual. You're so valid for that. You're so valid for that. What the? Xiao Xie is a hottie, okay? He's hot. He's hot, yeah. Xiao Hui handed Xiao Xie a handkerchief as they entered the palace. He wiped his hands as he walked. That kick was too risky, Xiao Hui murmured. If the last descendant of the Shen dog up and died, the Empress Dowager would be awfully displeased. Xiao Xie's smile sank into gloom. He had come fresh from the battlefield, and his murderous aura was so hostile the Yunch leading them didn't dare eavesdrop. That was exactly my intent. Xiao Xie spoke with a cold detachment. That old dog Shenwei made a cemetery of Zhongbo. They've been burying soldiers from the Chashi sinkhole for half a month, with no end in sight. And the Hua clan wants to protect that dog's last descendant because of some personal connections? How could they expect everything to work out in their favor? Besides, my brother rode thousands of miles to come to the capital's aid. There are no greater honors left to bestow on him. Libe is at its peak of its glory. It has become a very long thorn in the Empress Dowager's side. As my master, the Shisi often says, the moon waxes only the wane. Chahui said, the reward from Chudu this time is most likely a hangman banquet. Every dancer secretly brandishing a sword. Wait. Every dancer secretly brandishing a sword. Our main forces are cramped 30 miles from here, but the eyes and ears of the noble families are around every corner in the city. Now is not the time to be impulsive, Gongzi. Chao Chia tossed the handkerchief back to Chahui. Got it. He's not gonna listen. Is Aye here? The Shanda Emperor was feeding his parrot. Oh, hi, Safi. Hi. Thanks for the nice hands. How you doing? The Shanda Emperor was feeding his parrot. The creature had been spoiled rotten and was willy as anything. Willy and was willy as anything. The instant the Emperor spoke, it opened its beak and screeched, Aye is here! Aye is here! Aye! Pays obeisance obeisance to your majesty! Your majesty! Your majesty! Long live your majesty! Gosh, I will never do that again. I'm sure they go deep in someone's back. I might be dumb and it might be a little bit of autism, but I don't know what you mean with that. I hope you get well soon, though. He should be here now, answered Xiao Qiming, the heir of Li Bei, his hands full of bird feed. It's been 2 years, has it not? The Shanda Emperor prodded at the parrot. We haven't seen him for 2 years. The boy takes after your father. He grows up so fast. We fear he'll be even taller than you someday. He's taller to be sure, but he's still a child at heart, Zhao Jiming said. Spends all his time at home, stirring up trouble. We love a troublemaker. We love a troublemaker. The emperor was about to say more, when the coughing took him again. Pandrugwe held out a cup of tea, and the emperor took a sip to soothe his throat. Before he could continue, a Yunj announced Xiao Qi's arrival. Come in. The Shandi emperor lowered himself into his chair and leaned against the armrest. Come in, let us have a look at you. The palace Yunj drew aside the curtain, and Xiao Qi strode across the threshold, bringing the winter chill with him as he kowtowed before the emperor. A fine lad you are, all mighty in your armor, the emperor said with a smile. We heard that when the Biancha troops raided your roads and relay stations at the frontier, you showed your prowess and captured several alive, isn't that so? Xiao Qia laughed. Your Majesty flatters me. I did catch a few, but they were all a small fry. The year before the last, the 12 tribes of Biancha had launched a raid on the food supply route north of the pass. It had been Xiao Qi's first time leading troops in battle, and he'd received a thrashing from the Bianchal Baldies. Xiao Qiming had to clean up the mess after him. News of it spread, and the incident became a punchline that undermined Xiao Qi's reputation. He was now widely known as an infamous good-for-nothing. Seeing him so dismissive, the Shanda Emperor's tone softened. You are young. Just to ride a horse while brandishing the spear is no small skill in itself. Your elder brother is one of our nation's 4 great generals. Surely he regularly instructs you on military tactics. Jiming, you can see that Aye is motivated. You mustn't be too hard on him. Chao Jiming solemnly promised. The Libe armored cavalry distinguished itself in coming to our rescue this time, the emperor added. In addition to yesterday's major rewards, today we wish to give Aye some small consideration. Zhao Jiming rose to his feet and bowed. It will be my brother's honor to receive His Majesty's favor. However, he has no merits nor contributions to speak of. How could we receive such a lofty reward? The emperor paused. You crossed thousands of miles and the glacial river to come to our aid. Your merits are immeasurable. Even your wife, Lu Yiqi, shall be rewarded, let alone Aye. Turning to Xiao Xie, he said, Libe is a frontier of great strategic importance. You are young, Aye. Sure you will find Libe dreary if you remain there long. We wish for you to come to Chudu and take up a post as the carefree commander of the Imperial Regalia. What do you say? Zhao Jie had knelt motionless all the while. Now he raised his head. If it's a reward bestowed by your majesty, of course I accept. My whole family is made up of uncouth and burly warriors. I can't even find a place to sit and enjoy a song. If I stay in Chudu, I'll doubtless find life here so agreeable I'll never want to go back. The Shanda Emperor laughed aloud. What a lad! I've asked you to take up an official post, but you just want to have fun. If your father heard, we're afraid you wouldn't escape a beating. The atmosphere in the hall was relaxed. The Emperor even kept the brothers behind for a meal together. When it was time for them to go, the Emperor remarked, We heard Qidong sent someone as well. Who is it? Lu Guangbai, from the Baijun Commandery, Zhao Jiming replied. The Emperor leaned back in his chair with an air of fatigue. Tell him to return tomorrow, he said as he waved them off. Zhao Jie followed Zhao Jiming out. They hadn't gone far when they spied a man kneeling on the veranda outside. Pan Zhugui approached first, leaning over with a smile. General Lu, General Lu! Pan Gong Gong, Lu Guangbai answered wearily, opening his eyes. You should get up, General. Pan Zhugui advised him. His Majesty has retired for the day. You won't be able to see him till tomorrow. Lu Guangbai was a reticent man. He nodded without another word and rose to his feet to walk out with the Shao brothers. Only once they stopped out of the palace gates and mounted their horses did Zhao Jiming ask, How are you kneeling? His Majesty doesn't want to see me, Lu Guangbai said. The two men shared a silence. Both knew full well the reason for the Emperor's reluctance, but Lu Guangbai didn't appear bitter. He turned to Xiao Qie. Did His Majesty reward you? He's keeping me on a leash, Xiao Qie replied, taking up the reins. Lu Guangbai reached over to pet Xiao Qie's shoulder. Not you. That leash is on your father and brother. They rode a while, amid the sound of hoofs. Xiao Qie said, When His Majesty mentioned my sister-in-law, I almost broke out in a cold sweat. Lu Guangbai and Xiao Jiming burst out laughing. Lu Guangbai asked, Are your father and Yi well? Xiao Jiming nodded. Armorless and with a coat draped over his court attire, he didn't cut as young and valiant a figure as Xiao Qie, yet his presence commanded attention. You're both well, he answered. My father is still concerned about the old general's injury, so he specifically instructed me to bring you to the medicinal plaster he uses. Ichi is well too. She's missed you all very much since being with child, and wrote many letters that I've brought along. You can read them when we come over to my manor later. All we have back at home are unrefined men, Lugumbai said, uneasy, pulling out the reins. There is not even a female relative we could send to keep her company. The Libe winters are freezing. I got the news while leading the troops out of Bianjun Commandery, and I've been worrying the whole way. Yeah. Zhao Jie turned to them. When my brother was trapped in Shiso, the situation was dire. He told me not to write home in case it made my sister-in-law anxious. The conflict broke out so abruptly, they didn't find out about her condition until after he'd left. I'm assuming the condition is that she's pregnant. Zhao Qiming, ever a man of restraint, merely said, Our father stayed behind to guard the home front and watch over Yichi. Don't worry. Once I return home after New Year's, I'm not going anywhere. Lu Guangbai sighed. Li Bei has been caught in the heart of the storm these recent years. You have to think twice every time you dispatch troops. This time, we only have Shen Wei to blame for turning tail without a fight and leaving that rotten mess. When my troops rode past the Chashi sinkhole, the blood on the ground labeled the horse's hoofs. He knew he couldn't escape capital punishment, so he burned himself to death. Still, there's something off about the whole business. Jiming, you captured his son and brought him in the capital. Did you notice anything amiss? Shen Wei always attached great importance to the distinction between lawful and common birth, Zhao Jiming said, drawing his overcoat shut against the wind. The boy was his eighth son of common birth. To a mother whose family had no connections, he was abandoned to be raised in Duanzhou. It's obvious that he had no access to inside information. Yet, there must be a reason why His Majesty places such importance on the boy. Public wrath is hard to quell, Xiao Qie said, putting on his helmet. His Majesty personally handed command of the Zhongbo garrisons to Shanwei. After his debacle, someone's head needs to roll as a proof of his impartiality. However, the one with real executive power in the Zhou Empire was not the emperor but the empress dowager, who held her own court behind painted screens. With the situation at a stalemate, the eyes of the nation were on Shen Zhishuan. If he pled guilty and died swiftly, all would be well. If not, he was doomed to become a thorn in the emperor's side. The Shao clan of Libei was at the peak of their prestige. Even the Qi clan, who led the Qidong territories, had to give way to them, and Lu Guangbai, leader of Qidong Baijun Commandery, was Zhao Jiming's brother-in-law. Zhao Jiming, lauded as the Iron Horse on River Ice, one of the four great generals, could mobilize the Libei armored cavalry at any time and count on his wife's family to deploy the Bianjun garrison troops. How could the emperor in Chudu not be wary of him? The empress dowager insists on preserving his life. Lu Guangbai pursed his thin lips. She's gunning to raise a jackal who can rightfully reclaim Zhongbo, yet is submissive enough to eat from her hand. When the time comes, he could help her consolidate power from within while keeping Libei in check from without. A dangerous liability. Jiming, this boy must not live. As they rode into the gale, snow sliced across their cheeks like knives. They lapsed into silence. Zhao Hui, who had been quiet behind them, urged his horse forward. Gongzi kicked him right in the chest, almost as hard as he could. I saw how shallow his breathing was and how his wounds bled when he fell. Zhao Hui molded over, yet he did not die. After days of the trial and the flogging, his life was already hanging by thread, said Chao Chie, riding crop in his hand. My cake was meant to kill. If he doesn't die tonight, I'll acknowledge his tenacity at least. Sure, he doesn't die from my cake. God, he must be my future husband. You know, that's how it goes usually. But Chao Hui frowned. He was frail to begin with and suffered a cold on the journey here. By all rights, he should be dead, yet he's still hanging on. There's something fishy about it, master. Zhao Jiming swept them a long-side glance, and both shut their mouths. Raising himself against the fierce wind, he gazed out at the road ahead. After a moment's silence, he said, Dead or alive, only fate will tell. The wind howled, sending the metal wind chimes under the eaves along the street rattling. The sound seemed to chase away the spectre of doom that had closed in around them. What doesn't kill you marries you. Bro, that's like the best description of this book, I swear. Sitting steady atop of his horse, Zhao Qiming calmly spurred his mount onward. Zhao Hui leaned forward and hurried to catch up. Beneath his helmet, Zhao Qi's expression was inscrutable. Lu Guangbai punched him on the shoulder. Gotta hand it to your brother. Zhao Qi gave him a ghost of a smile. Fate, huh? Fate. Zhao Er really went, if he can't take my kick, he can take my D. No, for real though. Damn, he didn't die. No way. It's kind of funny because, like, okay, we already know they fuck, so I can talk about it, okay? It's kind of funny because when the time comes that they want to get, like, down and dirty, you know, Xiaoye suggests it, and Shen Zhishuan is like, dying by dick is too humiliating. Pick another death for me. You know? My foot isn't gonna be the only thing up his ass. Stop. Stop. That's fucking messed up. I love that line so much. I swear. Wait, I don't remember how the line goes exactly, but it's something like, death by dick is too humiliating. Pick another death for me, something like that. He doesn't say the word dick. He's a very distinguished gentleman. Okay, he doesn't say that word. All right, but goddamn. Okay, let me just take a quick break so I can rest my voice because I've realized reading is harder than I thought it was. I want to read at least one more chapter, but I need to like just quickly. He's fancy about his dirty talk, bro. Bro. Thank you for the unfold the spine. Oh god, my back hurts. Jesus Christ. I know you guys didn't hear it, but it cracked all over. Oh, I've been hunching over this book. It's not good. Ah, gosh. Gosh. Wait, I gotta look for something. Hold on. Just a second. Oh gosh, this part is so good, but I think we're gonna get there. Wait, let me find it. Okay, without context. This was the hardest day of his life, okay? In every sense possible. Like, damn, he got a boner for his enemy. That's the hardest day of his life, okay? The ditch boner shit. This is such a funny book, I tell you. Like, once you get past all the political intrigue, it's so funny. It's so funny because they really do hate each other, but they're also horny for each other. Hunched over like a goblin, just breathing heavily and reading erotica, hoping their brother doesn't come home anytime soon to judge them. You know what's funny? My brother is home. My brother is home, and he probably hears all of this, but he's used to my BL agenda at this point. He doesn't even care anymore. He just you know, selective hearing that, yeah. He just puts on the good old selective hearing and yeet, you know? My god. Alright. I'll try to keep reading, okay? I know my voice is starting to get a little bit hoarse, and it's been like a little more than an hour of actively reading, but I think I can at least try to do one more, maybe more, who knows. My brother is home and he listens to me whining about case file. Honestly, that is so valid. That is so valid. God. Alright. Let me try. Chapter 5. Frontline. Medicine leaked from the corners of Shen Shuan's lips and soaked the front of his robe. The physician was so anxious he couldn't mop the sweat from his brow fast enough. If he can't swallow the medicine, he's not going to make it. Qing watched Shen Shuan with a hand on his scabbard. Is there nothing else you can do? The physician's hands trembled around the medicine bowl, the spoon clattering against the rim. He kowtowed, knocking his head against the ground. It can't be done. He won't make it. My lord should prepare his straw mat for his burial with all haste. This is from the kick, by the way. This is all happening because of the kick. He probably broke a couple ribs there. Jesus Christ. Qing frowned. Keep trying, he said and turned to step out the door. Just outside, Jile stood by. Qing bowed. Your Excellency, the physician said he's a goner. Jile crushed a peanut shell in his hands and blew the dust away. Has he breathed his last? Still hanging on, Qing replied. Jile folded his hands behind his back. Keep an eye on him. Make sure he signs the written confession before he croaks. Jesus Christ. Wait, wait. Medicine? Is that what we are calling it? Gresh! Gresh! I swear, if only I could bonk you right now. Jesus Christ. I love you, bro. You're so horny for no reason. No reason at all. And I thought it was bad because your girlfriend wasn't living with you at the time, but now that your girlfriend lives with you, you haven't changed at all. You've gone worse. You're worse, okay? Qing nodded and watched Jile leave. He stood in the courtyard for a moment, then turned to a subordinate beside him. Call the footman over. Wait, the footman? The footman? For a moment, I thought they were gonna call Xiao Jie over, but no way. A short while later, a hunch-baked footman wrapped in coarse linen pushed the cart into the courtyard. Night had fallen. and the imperial prison was under tight security. Yue had the lantern up to scrutinize his face, then motioned for the man to follow him in. The physician had left some time ago. A single oil lamp cast its glow over the room where Shen Zhishuan lay on a cot, his face drained of color and his limbs cold as a corpse. Yue stepped aside and said to the footman, Jishu is here. Slowly the man stripped away the linen bundled around his head to reveal a face disfigured by fire. He stared at Shen Zhishuan, took 2 steps forward, and stretched out a trembling hand to stroke Shen Zhishuan's hair. When he saw how thin and bloodied the young man was, he began to weep, tears shining, tears shining on his scarred cheeks. Chuan R, Jigang whispered hoarsely. Shifu is here. Ge blew out the lamp. Don't worry, Jishu. Ever since the man from the prison learned he was your disciple, they've kept close watch. The interrogations looked harsh, but we didn't inflict serious injury. For your sake, our brothers were careful with him during the flogging. Even 20 of those strikes wouldn't have maimed him. But the Yunsh overseeing the punishment have sharp eyes. We didn't dare make it obvious. Third Lady Hua came just in time. Otherwise, Pang Gong Gong would have gotten suspicious. I will surely repay his kindness. Tears streamed down Jigong's careworn face. The years had been hard on him. His hair was already half white. Jishu, how can you say that? Exclaimed. What our brothers have repaid is kindness of your what our brothers have repaid is the kindness of your guidance and the debt we owe you for saving our lives. He sighed again. Jawar is the kick man. True, he's not the footman, he's the kick man. He sighed again. Who could have expected a wild card to storm out of the blue? The second young master Shao was aiming to kill with that kick. Jishu, can he be saved? Jigang felt Shen Zhishuan's pulse and forced a smile. Good lad. He made the most of the techniques. Amu taught him. He hasn't reached the point of no return. Don't be afraid, my child. Shifu is here. At the tender age of 7, Shen Zhishuan had joined Jimu in learning martial arts from Jigang. Each strike in the Ji-style boxing was aggressive. He had to be complemented with the Ji clan's mental cultivation techniques and could only be practiced by those with an informidable will. Jigang had been a heavy drinker most of his life. After teaching the older son, he often forgot about the younger, but Jimu took his position as eldest seriously. Every stance he learned, he taught his younger brother. Shen Zhishuan had unexpectedly mastered the style over the years. Ge Qingqing bent to take a look. He's still so young. I'm afraid his body will be permanently damaged after this ordeal. I sent someone to brew another bowl of the physician's prescription. See if you can get him to drink some, Jishu. Shen Zhishuan's throat was parched from fever. His body ached all over, as if he was lying on the main thoroughfare of Chudu, crushed by every carriage that came and went. The pain was an inferno consuming his body. Lost in the darkness, he dreamed of snow fluttering in the air. He dreamed of Jimu's blood, of the freezing sinkhole, and the brutal kick from Chao Chiye. He's thinking about him. He's thinking about his man that's mint. That's fucking mint. Jile was right. He was better off dead. He had received his life from his father, Shen Wei, so now he had to receive his father's death sentence. He took the fall in Shen Wei's stead, the target of contempt for all the loyal souls who had perished. Having taken on these shackles, he was bound to drag their weight forever, but he couldn't take it lying down. Someone pried his teeth apart, and warmth rushed into his throat. The bitterness of the medicine made Shen Zhishuan's eyes water. He heard a familiar voice and struggled to open his eyes. Jigang wiped the young man's tears with calloused fingers. Chuan R, it's Shifu. A sob caught in Shen Zhishuan's throat. He choked out the medicine alongside his tears. He hooked his fingers on the hem of Jigang's robe and gritted his teeth, fearing it was a fever dream. Jigang turned his scarred face away from the light of the lamp. You have to live, Chuan R. You're all I have left in this ignoble life. Tears poured down from Shen Zhishuan's eyes and streamed down his cheeks. He looked up at the pitch-black ceiling and murmured, Shifu. The wind outside was howling. Chen Zhishuan's gaze gradually focused, and a ferocious glint appeared. I won't die, he said hoarsely. Shifu, I won't die. The next day, the Shanda Emperor rewarded the troops with a feast. Besides providing for the Libe armored cavalry of Chidong garrison troops encamped outside the capital, the palace hosted a formal banquet for the commanders and generals, with court officials in attendance. Arrayed in the court attire, Xiao Qie overshadowed the delicate scholars around him as he took his seat. He, like the embroidered beasts clawing at the clouds on his robe, radiated intensity. Yet that careless persona reared its head again at the moment he sat down. Wait, he's half dead, Suzu. No. No, listen, when in dire moments you think of your most loved one. He doesn't know it yet, but Xie will be his most loved one, okay? It's just how it goes. Don't ask me, it's just how it happens. You know, one moment you hate each other, the next you love each other, okay? The civil officials enjoying the wine couldn't help stealing glances at Xiao Qie. A tiger could not beget a dog. How was it that the heir of the Libe took after his father, but the younger son turned out like this? Sharing an unspoken understanding, these officials began to pick apart Xiao Qie's every move. The air of wild frivolity emanating from him practically struck them across the face. In contrast, Xiao Jiming, sitting straight backed on the seat of honor, might have come from a whole other world. Don't think this doesn't involve you, Lu Guangbai remarked from his seat beside Xiao Qie. Since His Majesty rewarded you, he's sure to call on you later. Xiao Qie rotated some walnuts listlessly in his palm. He's like rotating the balls, you know. God. My God. My mind is in the gutter. Lu Guangbai turned to look at him. You went out drinking last night. Just making merry before the Hongmen banquet. Xiao Qie sank shapelessly into his seat. Now I'm ready. If anyone takes his wife during the sword dance, I can enact a drunken rescue. Wouldn't that be great? Very well. Lu Guangbai poured himself another cup. The drinking is bad for your health. If you want to make your mark as a general, best give up this vice. Zhao Qi sighed and tossed a walnut to Lu Guangbai. I was born at the wrong time. With the four generals taking their places, your places around the nation, there is no room for me to play hero. If you ever find yourself unable to go on, let me know in advance. It won't be too late for me to kick the habit then. Jesus Christ. In that case, I'm afraid you'll have to wait, said Lu Guangbai, and they laughed together. As the banquet went on, conversation turned to the Shen clan of Zhongbo. How I imagine this is going. I hated him at first, and I tasted his peen, and I gotta say, he's not that bad after all. The taste isn't too bad either. Have you read this book? Have you read this book? Because that's literally how it goes. I feel that's literally how it goes. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention they fuck on a horse in this book. Not in this book, but like in the next one, I think. Oh, that's gonna be like a lot of raunchy stuff. Yeah. When I say they fuck on a horse, I'm just saying like I'm sorry. I feel bad for the horse. The dexterity. They were needy, okay? It had to be fast. It had to be done in that instant. It had to be fast, okay? And they're so passionate about it. Wait, about like fucking in general or about fucking on the horse? While horseback riding. Jesus Christ. The shafting. I mean, it works. I wouldn't do it personally, but it works. You gotta be hella horny to fuck on a horse. Holy shit. Not on the horse. Girl. Hold on. Now I have to do this. I got volume 2 right here. This is volume 2, by the way. The art is amazing. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, okay? Where is it? They fuck on a horse. I thought you read this, Maya. I thought you read this. Jesus. I keep just spoiling the raunchy moments. They had a full chapter of teasing. Ah, yeah, they're probably doing the same thing they did in this book, where like they teased the scene, but then they cut off the book, so you buy the next one if you want to see. I was low key horny, low key horrified. Jesus Christ. um, hello, welcome in the wild orange summer child. We're reading BL. I imagine how the author describes it. I haven't read that part yet per se. I just know it happens. Um, I know this. Okay, so Okay, so one thing I have to say about this book is they don't go into details about the squelch, squelch, and flop, flop. You know, they don't do that. They just like very poetically describe the setting. You know, so I don't know how they're gonna explain poetically having sex while horse riding, but they're gonna do it somehow. That's for sure. You know. My God, I love the sex scene so much. Jingle jingle, the flop flop, squelch squelch, plop plop plop. Yes, that. Okay, let me continue reading this. Hold on, where was I? Damn. Also, how are you doing, Orange Summer Child? Welcome in. Plop plop plop. Okay, guys, stop being horny. All right, stop being horny for a second. All right, kids. This is a Christian Danmei reading stream, okay? We're not horny. Only pure thoughts. Only pure thoughts, okay? Alright? Stop being horny. God. Mm-mm. It's Shentia Xuan, your majesty. Pandrugui bent over and whispered. The emperor paused, but instead of continuing, he turned to the empress dowager and asked, "What does Imperial Mother think?" A solemn silence descended over the hall as the entire court of civil and military officials lowered their heads to listen. The Empress Dowager wore a wide band of fine black silk around her head, embroidered with cloud dwelling dragons and dripping with strings of pearls. Pearl ropes hung from her ears on golden hooks, embellished with emerald leaves and capped with pearls as big as chestnuts. She was the picture of poise on her high seat, the streaks of frost in her glossy hair the final touch of dignity. Not a soul in the banquet hall dared to raise their head to look at her. Our morale suffered a serious blow during the attack on Zhongbo because Shen Wei lost his nerve, the Empress Dowager said, but his fear of judgment led him to self-immolate, and his descendants have all died in the battle. Only the singular son of common birth is left. It goes against grace and righteousness to eradicate his entire clan. Why shouldn't we preserve his life and teach him gratitude? The banquet hall was silent. It's kind of like the horse riding is insane, but you know what? I think I'm gonna read that now. I'm so glad. Oh, it's Sammer. Hi, Sammer. I see. Okay, okay. I see. All right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, volume 2 is officially out. It's such a good book, though. It's such a book, though. Also, I had no idea you liked Dunmei, like in general. Like, we should, since you're in my Discord server, we should have like a Dunmei club, you know? That would be cool. You're like, oh my god, are you suggesting sparing his life? That's awful. That's boring. Let's not do that. The banquet hall was silent. This subject finds this inappropriate. Lu Guangbai suddenly raised his voice. He took 3 steps forward and knelt in the middle of the hall. Her Majesty is merciful, but Zhongbo is unlike battles past. Perhaps there is no evidence that Shen Wei colluded with the enemy, but the suspicion remains. This young man is Shen Wei's last descendant. If he is allowed to survive, he may well live to become a serpent under our own roof. The Empress Dowager studied Lu Guangbai. Your father, the Earl of Biansha, has guarded the desert for decades. Yet, even he has not emerged victorious from every battle. My father is not invincible, Lu Guangbai replied. Nevertheless, In the decades of his command, no enemy has penetrated so deep past the borders of the Baijun commandery. The pearls hanging from the Empress Dowager's ears swayed gently. It's precisely for this reason that we must teach the child etiquette and virtue. He may understand the disastrous consequences of this war. How easy is it to kill a man? The Biancha horsemen trampled the fields of Zhongbo and slew tens of thousands of our people. We have yet to seek redress from them for the humiliation of our nation. What guilt could a cast off child have? Yes, Queen! Yeah, you were always welcome to scurry back into the server, by the way. This subject finds it inappropriate as well. The deputy Grand Secretary of the what the fuck? The deputy Grand Secretary of the Grand Secretariat, Hai Liang Yi, had remained quiet all this while. Now he braced himself on the table to stand, then knelt before the throne. Her Majesty is gracious and merciful, but this is no trivial matter. Even if Shen Wei did not conspire with the enemy, he still deserved a beheading after such a defeat. Moreover, this boy has been tried and interrogated thrice, and his statements are contradictory and illogical. He insists Shen Wei had no congress with the enemy, but as a son of common birth, raised far from the manor, how would he know what Shen Wei did or did not do? The boy is cunning by nature and not to be trusted. General Lu is right. If we keep the last remnant of the Shen clan alive, he will one day be a scourge under this very roof. The Empress Dowager was unruffled. Please rise, Secretariat Elder Hai. Panzhugui helped Liang Yi to his feet, and the Empress Dowager continued. It is as my dear ministers have said. It seems that my views have been colored by my feelings. I will leave the decision to this matter to the Majesty. Because she knows that the Majesty does whatever she says. Yeah, Queen! Under the watchful eyes of the hall, the Shande Emperor gave a sharp, feeble cough. He accepted the handkerchief Panzhugui passed him and covered his mouth. Only after a long silence did he speak. What Imperial Mother says is not without merit. The boy himself is innocent. However, the fact remains that Shen Wei's troops failed in their duty and abandoned their cities. This child carries the weight of his family's guilt as the sole living member of his clan. We will give him a chance to redeem himself, Jilei. Yes, Your Majesty. Confine the boy at the Temple of Guilt. Without our order, he is not to cross the threshold. Chao Xie tossed the crushed piece of walnut into the plate. Is Gongzi not eating that? Xiao Hui asked. Broken and wasted, Chao Xie said. Who would want it? Have not all sides been satisfied? Xiao Hui said in a low voice, his eyes on Chao Xie's plate. We didn't get what we wanted, but neither did they. Caging him is preferable to freeing him, at least. Lu Guangbai returned to his table. Not necessarily, Chao Xie pointed to himself. Am I not caged as well? And thank goodness for that. Jesus Christ! Like, dude, I'm also kind of caged in a different circumstance. Thank fucking God. My God. Lu Guangbai and Zhao Hui chimed in unison. They're just shitting on this boy, okay? God dangity. God dangity dang. Holy shit. I'm tired. I think that was my last chapter. They're so done with his shit. Listen, he's a menace to society. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. This book is great. This book is absolutely great. And honestly, I am so glad that you guys seem to enjoy the stream. I was so nervous to start doing these streams. First of all, because I'm still kind of sick. Sometimes I have a cough, but I seem to be well enough to do a reading. Have you guys heard me cough once? No. I didn't cough once, okay? So I think I'm good for readings now, but also I wasn't sure if anyone would be interested. But I'm glad I did, and I will do it more. So next time we're gonna start from chapter 6, okay? And we're gonna, yeah. Well, how many pages did I read today? Just for reference, you know. Hold up a second. This is Frontline. Okay, so we stopped before imprisonment. There. So I read about 60 pages, maybe a little less if we don't count like the first few. Yeah. But like I think what I'll do is I'll do like about 50 pages every time I read. For now I only stream 3 times a week, so I don't know if I'll do this twice a week. But since this was more of a chill stream, maybe I will like implement another reading stream towards the end of the week. I'll see what I do. But yeah, I don't want to like 50 pages at a time once a week. You'll never get through it, okay? And there's other books I want to read too. So yeah. But this is so good. Wait, hold on. Oh, they love each other. Hold on. Wait. Ooh, they love each other. Look at them. But yeah, I'm gonna I think I'm gonna end stream and go rest my voice. I need to play Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft today. Alright. But about that Danmei book club, there's already a fangirling over Danmei, or like boasting over Danmei in my server. But yeah, I kinda wanna like attract more people who are into this kind of stuff, because I've been banning some people in my community because of views or like edgy humor, So I realized the point. I took a break last week from streaming because I was like so burnt out. I was so burnt out, and I took a break last week because of it, and I banned a bunch of people from my server and like from my community in general. And I think like I'm glad I'm doing this because I want to have more people that are like-minded here, or people who are like open to it at least. So I hope my community can be a healthier one for everyone involved. I'm sorry if it has not been very healthy at all times. I'm not the healthiest person myself, but I'm excited for this new road we're going on, okay? This has been fun, and I'm hope my reading will get better with time. I love read-alongs with self-annotations, please, they're more fun. I swear. If we were, instead of reading this, if we were reading like the Scum Villain self-saving system, we would be laughing our asses off at all times. So maybe I'll do that. Open to it. Me actively talking about men in me while my girlfriend copes. Your girlfriend just accepted her fate at this point, okay? Yeah. So like there's other books I think at some point I really want to read Scum Villain on stream. Just a read along. Because it's so funny, okay? It's the funniest fucking book, and that's like one of the books I actually finished, you know? Oh yeah, by her. I'm still waiting for like what was it called? I forgot the name, but like some other like publishing house that is not Seven Seas Entertainment. Like they did a pre-order on like a Baihe book a few months ago, and I did pre-order my books. But I'm waiting for them. But I think I also want to read. Oh yeah, doesn't Female General and Eldest Princess come out of? Oh, does it come out this week? Oh, well, I pre-ordered it, so maybe that's one thing we're gonna read when we finish this book, and we finish this book, because there's only 2 right now. Okay, there's only 2. But like, the art. Listen, Suto, my savior, their art is beautiful. Okay, they're like my favorite artist around. That's crazy. Who's this person? Oh, people joined my Discord. Hello, welcome to the Discord, Maya. Suto's art in so good, but also Suto's art in Husky and His White Cat Shizun so good too, right? Oh, you know what we should do, guys? I think I wanna unbox my little Wang Shen figurines. I haven't done that yet ever since I came back from Japan. So I think we're gonna do it right now because I don't feel like ending stream yet. Hold on. Wait. I have these. I should set up still. I bought them in Japan when I went. And I think it's time. I think it's time we take them out of their box. Just give me a second. I probably need a little skizzer. A little skizzer. Buns. Yeah, they're so cute. They're so adorable. Well, I hope I don't face reveal with like this shiny fucking ass bitch. Ooh. Okay, sorry, this is gonna be a little louder. This is gonna be a little bit loud. Hold on. I can't believe I hadn't taken this out yet. I'm so awful. Honestly, I don't really have space to like set them up, but maybe I'll make space for them. Oh yeah, I do play Genshin on a U server. We should add each other. Blasting, creaking ASMR. Absolutely. Absolutely. They survived the travel from Japan. Here, look, this is so cute. It's so cute. He has little bunny feet. He's so cute. Look at that. By the way, I turned the OBS sound back on. So if you guys want to play alerts now, you can, I think. Let me remove the map. No, that's my PNG. Buck. Sammer, are you also familiar with like are you familiar with like Danmei in general? Oi, hold on. My back hurts. I am so fucking I'm gonna text you about the Genshin later. Hold on. Hold on. How do I remove this? Just a second. Just a second, guys. There. I can remove this. Alright. Did you hear it? Did it show up? Yeah, they're adorable. We have little Wei Wuxian, and we have his hubby. He's adorable! Oh my god! What the fuck? He's adorable! They're even more adorable when you take them out of their actual like box. He's like chewing on something. He's chewing something. Wait, what is he holding? Ah, they're holding like little like mooncakes, I think. I think they're holding little mooncakes. They're so adorable. Holy shit. Okay, so there's a stand. Let me take everything out. Yeah, those are like little mooncakes, I think. Even these, like, yeah, that is so cool, actually. I was so surprised when I went to Japan. Like, they had so much Danmei stuff. It was insane. You know? But, like, when I say Danmei stuff, I mean exclusively Modao Sushi. I don't know why. Modao Sushi is just very popular. I was assuming that, like, Heaven Official's Blessing was also gonna be super popular there, but I only found one thing about Heaven Official's Blessing in Japan. The rest was just Wangshen, you know, like Modao Sushi, the Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I also have like other stuff for this, but I just gotta see where I put it. Give me a second. Oh, it's over here. Let me see. I put it over here. Hey, where is it? Noko, Nesuka. Maybe I did not put it over here. Maybe I did not. But it has to be here somewhere. Oh, it's here. Okay, I found it. I found it, guys. I found it. I found it. I'm coming back. My friend is the hardcore Danmei fan, but I joined with her. Yeah, you should. Danmei's so good. Gosh. Like, they also gave me, like, the background, like, the backdrop for this. With it, you know. It was a special edition of something. What is this? Ah! Okay, so this is in case you don't want to put them on the little standees, but I want to put them here. Why would I not? They're so cute. Don't break it now. See? So cute! Oh my god! That is adorable. See, they're so cute. I love them. They're my everything. If anything happens to them, I will kill everybody in this stream and then myself. Okay. Let me open this up. Yeah, I should really set it up. I wanted to wait. I don't know on what, but I somehow wanted to wait for some odd reason. Don't reread the Burial Mounds arc. Stop, okay? I had selectively deleted that off my memory. Why would you remind me of the Burial Mounds arc? Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Wait. Oh my. Hold on, I'm trying to remove the little plasticky film without scratching the whole thing up. Yeah, let me just. I got it. I think I got it. By the way, I don't think. Have I ever read Modout? I read a little bit of Modout Sushi. I have not read a lot of it because back when I was like super into it, there wasn't like an official English translation yet. But I watched the show, and I watched the Untamed. Ugh, I barely managed to get this off, and now I gotta do it on the other side too. God. Ah, this stream is just me struggling. This stream is just me struggling, guys. It's okay. It's okay. Let me. You know what? I give up. I'll do this after stream. I'll just stick it on right now. Right now. Stick it on. It's a very good purchase. Why is this not going in? That's what she said. Why is this not fitting in? Huh? Do I really have to remove the plastic for it to fit? It sounds so wrong. Do I have to remove the condom to fit? I think I do. This is gonna be ASMR removing packaging. I can do it. I can do it. I heard they're removing small twink surprised at things not fitting. Shut up. Shut up. The best way possible. Oh, I got it. Gosh, I swear to God. This is gonna be ASMR on packaging Wangshan figurines. Oh god. I got it. I got it. God, why is it so hard out there? We went for No, for real though. This is so hard on here. Holy shit. Ay! Guys, we should do a Danmei watch party on my server, on my Discord server. I want to rewatch Heaven Official's Blessing. I think we should do a watch party sometime this week, maybe, or next week. Maybe on a Saturday, because I know people are students. You know what? I'll try to fit it again. It fits now at least a little bit. Twink surprise stuff don't fit. Okay. Let me put them in front of here. Let me get this phone out. I'm scared I'm gonna face reveal accidentally. Look at them! They're so cute! Wow! I love it. They're really adorable. I really like this, and like they're high quality too. Like, I don't even know. I need to buy more Danmei figurines, I feel. Yeah, they're standing on mooncakes. Oh, I'm telling you, it's so cute. They're adorable. I love them so much. I love them so much. I love them. Nade, 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 nade. I love them so much. Alright, I'm done fangirling. I think I'm done fanboying. Alright. Well, I unpacked them. All I gotta do is remove the plastics. I'm gonna keep the box, though. Oh, yeah, one other thing. That's the... Okay, so this is the only thing I found of Heaven Official's Blessing. And I just gotta make sure I don't face reveal accidentally while unboxing it. Ooh. Hold on. Just a second, guys. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. So this is like a little standee thing of Xielian that I found in Japan. I haven't set it up either yet. Yansha! Hi to Dainsha! Gosh, I love Danmei. But yeah, I am more than ever so convinced that I am gonna do a Danmei watch party on my Discord server sometime. Twirsha, Samur. Which ones have you watched already? Bro, we should watch 1,000 Autumns. I need my... Oh gosh, I love 1,000 Autumns, the animation. Even though it's like so wacky. Like, even though it's so wacky, it's so funny because Yan Wuxi just laughs like a maniac all the time. I love it so much. He's such a... He's such a menace. I love Yan Wuxi. I don't understand how people can dislike Yan Wuxi. Honestly. Hi, Iron Massacre. How are you? Ooh, I dropped everything. Hi, Iron Massacre. How you doing? How are you, bro? I was about to go play Minecraft. But off stream. I've read for almost 2 hours. I read porn for almost 2 hours. I like Yan washing in a blend. Yan washing! Hurrah! I was just showing off my Danmei figurines, you know, my... These are the only figurines, Danmei figurines I have. Hell yeah. But one thing they gave me with these is also... They gave me like little pins. I don't know, it was like a special promotion or something. I don't know. Oh, also, oh, never mind. I also got this. Oh, fuck. Ah! It's beautiful! It's beautiful! Alright. The statue, I swear. Oh, this has me weak. I'm screaming, crying, throwing up. I can hear the song. Stop. I love them so much. Hwacheong is so hot. Jesus. They gave me like postcards of the little statues, and they also gave me like little pins. Like, I think it was a special promotion or something. You only watched Modao Sushi and Heaven Official's Blessing. Guys, you know what we should do? Even though the animation is kind of wacky, and it's like a 3D animation, we should watch the Scum Villain animation on my Discord server. We should watch the Scum Villain animation. It's so wacky. I love it so much. Even though there's never been a season 2, they just gave up. They were just like, you know, Scum Villain is the oldest forgotten child. Scum Villain is just the oldest forgotten child. I haven't seen any of the 3D animations. I mean, fake Bingcho fan? What do you mean, fake Bingcho man? Fake Yansha? What do you mean? Are you talking about me? Are you saying I'm a... Oh no, you are a fake Bingcho and Yanshan fan. Yeah, you kind of are. We should watch them. Listen, especially like the Thousand Autumns animation is so fucking funny because uh wait, what was his name again? What was his name again? What was the bottom's name again? Shen, something Shen. Shen. Wait, wait. How can I forget that? Shen Chao, yeah. He's a damsel in distress. Literally like 99% of the time in that show. And Yan Wuxi just laughs like a maniac and leaves all the time. I love it. It's so funny. It's still so wacky though because it's 3D. Like if you're not used to it, it's kind of weird. But at the same time, it's so good. The Donghua removed my baby girl behind. Bro, is that the evil guy? Because they butchered him so bad. They butchered him so bad in that one. Holy shit. They really did do that. They really did do that. Ah, Yan Wushi's older disciple. Oh yeah, they did. I'm down to be educated more on Danmei. Also, I haven't watched the live actions. Wait, Maya, have you watched... What's it called? See, I've been so out of it. That's why I want to get back into the BL shit, okay? What was it called? That one drama. Wait. I gotta Google this. No, this is like screwing me. What was it called again? Word of Honor! Yeah, Word of Honor. Yan Wuxi is my best friend. Wait. Ian, oh, is it because he just laughs like a maniac and leaves? I was about to say, do you actually know Yan Wuxi? Bro, we should do a Word of Honor watch party. I've decided. I love Wenzo so much. They're so goofy. I love it. It's so funny. So gay. So gay. Yeah. The female ghosts. Stop. They're so pretty. We're just gonna scream the whole time if we do it. We're just gonna scream the whole time. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool by me. You know, it's fine by me. It's fine by me. Alright? Before we go, I don't know them, but they are my best friend. Before we end the stream, I have to just look at this art again. Wow. Beautiful. Oh, they're so beautiful! I love the tenderness. They hate each other, but they also fuck each other, you know? Num 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 num. Yeah. The fact that Tragic Comic Ghost is not in Faraway Wanderers is depressing. Big sniff, is that a stinky Azu smell? Damn, the Fallboard, you just came in as I opened up the fucking porn? Haha, kissing. Oh yeah, they're wrestling, guys. They're wrestling. I am the Fujoshi in the corner watching Jitsu fuck. There's a Fujoshi in the corner. Oh. I know when I'm needed. So good. So good. How are you doing though? Thank you for dropping by. What's up? What's going on? We've just been yapping about BL and Danmei. Just been yapping. Speaking of BL, I wanted to do this series. I already like got one dude down, but I wanted to do like this thing for YouTube because I want to like get more into making YouTube videos, right? I want to like do this thing where like I take a BL show and I get the boys to watch it. You know? So I already got Cho. Cho already said, yeah, I agree to it. I want to react to like some BL. I've never watched BL, sure. So I got Cho to like watch BL with me and make him react to it. I'm just gonna title it Forcing the Boys to Watch BL. And it's just gonna be, I don't know, Sasaki and Miyano or something like that. It's gonna be a scream party. But yeah, we can plan that on my server. Make them react to TGCF. I think. Oh, actually, they would love that. Actually, I think. because TGCF has such good music, and Chotira, like AJ, is very musically intrigued by stuff, you know? I should. But also, I didn't want to just make Danmei because I like BL in general. Maybe I'll make them react to the Omegaverse one. You know? What was it called? Tadaima Okaeri or something like that. Yeah. Hell yeah. Let's do that shiz. I love that. But anyway, boys, I have the FBI, aka my cats, knocking on my door. They want to eat, and I want a snack, and I want to play Minecraft. So I think we're gonna end the stream for today. But thank you guys for coming. I had such a positive experience. But TGCF, my door is always open. Always. How dangerous. I swear, they're always flirting. They're so obnoxious. They're so fucking obnoxious. I love it. I love Danmei. I love BL. Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can raid somebody. I gotta go play Minecraft. It's really urgent. Like, I've been prickling to play Minecraft all day. But I think I'll do the next reading next Wednesday, same time as today. So if you don't want to miss out, okay. I'll announce it on my server, so join my Discord server if you're not in the Discord yet. Let me just casually Discord drop that in there. Sorry you saw my hairy arms, okay? Sorry I don't have a fanboy arm thing going on. Anyway, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna put on the ending screen and I'm gonna see who I can raid. Actually, no. I'm gonna see who I can raid first and then put on Lemster Arms, I guess? Okay. You need to chill. Red. Aww. Thank you so much. I had so much fun with everybody. Let me see. Following. Who's streaming? Who do I follow who streams? Imagine following streamers. Imagine. I mean. Ooh! Thank you for the tiny fart. I really needed that. Let's go raid Kazama VT again. It's been a while since I raided him. Alright. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this adventure. I'm excited to do it again. I'll see you guys on Friday with some Minecraft, okay? And join my Discord. Alright, doing all that's professional jizz, alright? Let's go to Kazama and give him some love. Thank you for stopping by, even if you just came in to say hi, because I understand BL is not everybody's thing, right? But I really appreciate you, and I love you guys, and I hope to see you again the next time. See you.